Hello, welcome to another episode of Frank Talk with me, Desmond Utoy. And today we'll be dealing on the issues that has to do with the president's phone call with President Donald Trump. You are aware that recently President Muhammadu Buhari spoke with President of America, and they had some common grounds on what will be mutually beneficial to both countries. And with me in the studio today that will be dissecting that is the presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Congratulations. Eventually, we are having our presidents having a discussion with the President of America. So much has been said about maybe the American president do have a regard for our own president. What does this really mean to Nigerians?
I don't understand what those who had said he didn't have regard for our president. I don't understand what they mean. Because President Trump is not even 1 month in office. He was inaugurated January 20. And you see that he's been talking to world leaders from region to region, so to speak. So, this Monday was the turn of Africa. And the first president he spoke to on the continent was the Nigerian president. What other regard does anybody want? So the fact that he spoke to the Nigerian president even ahead of the South African president shows that President Trump knows the position of Nigeria on the continent. Nigeria is number one, and he has given us that due regard.
Yeah, maybe what influenced most of the considerations or insinuations earlier on was because they believe the president was not invited for his inauguration, and that was like belittling the position of Nigeria in the global space.
It's ignorance. Did you see any sitting president at the inauguration? America does not invite sitting presidents to his inauguration. Have you ever seen any in Obama's first term, in his second term, in George Bush Jr. first term, second term, in Bill Clinton? Did you see foreign leaders? America does not invite sitting presidents to the inauguration of his president. You rather have the head of diplomatic missions. The ambassadors are the ones that represent the countries. You didn't see any foreign leader at the Trump inauguration. No sitting foreign leader. It's a tradition with America. If he wants to invite sitting leaders, sitting presidents, where will he start? Where will he stop? How many hundreds of leaders across the world would then have to come? So it's a tradition. They don't invite sitting presidents of other countries. So anybody who says Nigerian president was not invited, so it's a slap on the president's reputation, is the one that is ignorant.
So what does this now mean to Nigeria, talking about the kind of revving up the relationship between Nigeria and America?
Oh, sure. It does mean a lot to Nigeria, because whether we like it or not, America is a major force to reckon with in the world. And if the American president calls your president, it's a significant development. And if the call was cordial, as that one was, is an added value. Because we know that there had been presidents that Trump had shouting match with on telephone, and he banged the phone on and all that. But this one went very cordially between the Nigerian president and the American president. It shows the value that America places on Nigeria and vice versa.
What kind of benefits do we appropriate from this, talking about economy, security, and others?
You already could see from the content of the discussion as released by my office. He congratulated the Nigerian president on the good job he was doing. He congratulated him on recovery of some of the Chibok girls and promised that America will help Nigeria to get high-caliber weapons to combat insecurity. You know that as close as Nigeria was to the Obama presidency, there was some caliber of weapons that Nigeria was not allowed access to. You know, there was the Leahy Law in America, which forbade America from selling certain caliber of weapons to countries that have been accused of abuse of human rights. In Nigeria, that was not quite true because we also had other organizations and other countries of the world commending Nigeria on the upholding of human rights in the Northeast. So that position of America was subjective. And here you see a new president ready to review it. He said he would assist Nigeria to get the kind of weapons it needed. And he also promised collaboration in some other areas. So I think it's a good development. It's a positive development for Nigeria.
Are we likely going to see maybe Americans sending some of their troops or men on ground to help in the fight against insurgency?
No, we may not need it. And the president has said that a number of times. He doesn't necessarily believe. Well, he said that with respect to mercenaries. He had said, well, Nigeria does not need to hire mercenaries to fight any war of insurgency. That the Nigerian army, which had acquitted itself creditably in places like Burma, like Zaire, like Somalia, like Sudan, in Congo, many foreign missions. How then would you need mercenary to fight to hold the country together? The president has said no, he would not be needing that. But then there could be technical assistance in terms of training, in terms of how to use the equipment we procure and all that. Of course, Nigeria will welcome that.
Well, beyond security, which other area are we going to see Nigeria benefiting? And have we started positioning ourselves for this benefit?
And you know, this is just the beginning. It's the first step in a long journey. He has invited our president to visit in Washington. I am sure that will be fine-tuned later and eventually consummated. When our president does go on that trip, I'm sure the vistas will open to both countries, and it will be limitless, really.
Yeah, people want to say that you don't get into the meeting, the conference, before you start preparing yourself. You must have prepared your plan before going there so that you don't come empty-handed.
Yes, sure.
So has the president team started looking at what document they possibly want to advise the president with when he gets into that meeting with the American president?
The onus will be on the Foreign Affairs Ministry to follow up on that invitation now. But I tell you, it's just the first step in what could be a long journey. It does not mean that this could come up in a week or 2 or 3 or in a month. No, it may not be that. It could still take a while. But the invitation having been extended, yes, there will be follow-up meetings till... don't forget, the American president said he wanted the Nigerian president to visit Washington at a mutually convenient time. So they have to find a time that is convenient for both presidents. And before that time, you can be sure that the Nigerian side will have articulated what it wanted.
With the size of Nigeria's population and its strategic location in Africa, it is believed that Nigerian market is strategic to any developed world.
Yes, sure.
But this has also made us a dumping ground because we don't produce anything locally that we can export to these other countries for the foreign exchange. So what are we going to be doing in that respect to ensure that we have so much to balance the trade between us and America, should that come on board?
But that's exactly what this administration has been doing. The only thing virtually that Nigeria exports is oil.
Yeah.
That oil is not even in demand again from certain parts of the world. America, which used to be the biggest customer of our oil, has virtually stopped buying oil completely from Nigeria. So, and that's why the president has always said we have paid enough lip service to diversifying our economy. We must diversify or die. And that's why I focus on things like agriculture, solid minerals, and all others that can fetch Nigeria good foreign exchange. So this administration is working on it, and I'm sure that in the life of this administration, we will reach that point. For instance, rice, it is envisaged that by 2018, Nigeria will be self-sufficient in rice and in all other grains. And by 2019, we'll begin to export. That's something to fetch us foreign exchange.
That was a long time, a long way to go.
Oh, yes, it has a gestation period. You can't push it faster. The gestation period must be satisfied. We were a mono economy for 50, how many years? 1960 to now, for 57 years.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say for 55 years, because this administration began the diversification immediately it came into office about 2 years ago. So for 55 solid years, we were a mono economy. Then you can't say that within a year or two, then everything must turn around. No, there's a gestation period.
Well, maybe Nigerians also believe that the current administration had all this worked out when it told us that it was going to bring about change. And they want to see change because diversification has been receiving so much lip service. It's been mounted over the years and nothing was actually done.
Yeah.
So they thought that this government actually prepared itself, had a blueprint to diversify the economy.
Even if you have a blueprint, it doesn't get done in 1 year. It doesn't get done in 2 years. And don't forget that the lifespan of the administration is 4 years. So it's like a long distance race. When you embark on a long distance race, you need to pace yourself. You pace yourself, lest you burn out before you hit the mark. That is exactly what this administration is doing.
So we have what it looks like a maturity period within the administration, I mean the term of this administration.
Definitely. And let's not forget that no single administration ever solves the problem of a country. But this administration will go as far as possible. The change the administration promised will be evident before its time is up.
How well have we laid this foundation so far?
If you know the president, you see that he's a very methodical and painstaking person. A lot of people shout about the fact that it took him 6 months to assemble his cabinet. That what he was doing was laying a fresh foundation for governance then. Because when the administration came, you would not believe the rot that it met on ground. It was mind-boggling. If he had continued building on that rot, change will never be enduring. But he took time to scrape the mud and lay a fresh foundation and building on it. So the change will come, but it will take due process. Change is a process, but we will get there.
Yeah, you stay with us. We'll be coming back. And when we return, we'll be talking more about how Nigerians are receiving this change which the present administration is bringing to us. Stay tuned. Oh, you're welcome back, and we'll still have Mr. Femi Adesina in the studio. For about 21 months now, the president has been doing so much to lay the foundation, like you have said. And this foundation doesn't seem to be sitting down well with most Nigerians. Some of them have been complaining. Recently, we had a protest, I Stand with Nigerian protest, and a counter-protest of I Stand with Buhari protest. Do you think Nigerians are not being patient with the government, or maybe the government is too slow in giving them the change, or the profits or the dividends of those change that they promised?
Anything that will be enduring must also take its time. If you want to build a skyscraper and you lay the foundation of a 2-story building, if you attempt to build a skyscraper on that kind of foundation, it will collapse. The whole structure will collapse, and great will be the fall of it. Therefore, if you are going to lay an enduring foundation for the Nigerian economy, it will also take time, and that is what the president is doing. So all those who are complaining and protesting, I'll just tell them, easy does it.
Well, maybe they feel that we are spending too much time on laying the foundation when we should have gotten to the roofing level already.
No, I said earlier that enduring structure will be determined by the quality of a foundation. Nigeria never had an economy with a foundation. What we had was a bubble economy, an economy that was dependent on oil. And unfortunately, all through the time we had that oil, we didn't save, we didn't develop infrastructure. You know, when you have a bubble, all it takes to burst that bubble is a pinprick. The pinprick came, through the collapse of oil prices in the international market, and the Nigerian economy collapsed with the prices of oil. Therefore, we must never get into a position where the fortunes of our country will be solely determined by the price of one commodity. And that is the foundation that the president is building for the Nigerian economy. It will take it a while, but we will get there. So those who are being impatient, I'll just appeal to them to be a lot more patient with the administration, because we will get to where we are going.
You know, as a matter of fact, most of the critics of this government have said that if you can't take us to where you promised you were going to take us to, why don't you just take us back to where you met us? Because it seems that it was better up there. So are you worried by this?
I'm not worried. I'm not worried a bit, because I know what happened. Now, let's see some statistics. When President Obasanjo left, that must have been in 2007.
Yeah.
Our foreign reserves was $64 billion. 64 billion. Yar'Adua, who was ill and ruled for about 3 years, increased that foreign reserve marginally. Now, a president came and stayed 5 years, finished Yar'Adua's term 1 year, stayed another 4 years. And what was the foreign reserve when he left? 29 point something billion. From 64 that Obasanjo left. And under this president's term, oil sold as high as $110 per barrel. It even went to 120 at a point. It stabilized at $110, $112 per barrel. For almost the duration of the administration, you did not increase foreign reserve. You depleted it up to half. 29 point something billion was what you left, whereas you inherited 64 billion. You know what was happening in all those years? The money we were earning was being mismanaged, was being stolen, was being frittered, and the foreign exchange was also, foreign reserve was also being depleted. They were using the dollar to support the naira, to hedge the naira.
To defend naira.
To defend the naira. Mm-hmm. That was why you didn't know that things were terribly wrong. Yet a lot was wrong with the economy. And those who knew warned. Obasanjo warned. He said the way the administration was running Nigerian economy, it will run Nigeria into trouble. It eventually happened. Soludo, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, former CBN governor, also warned that there would be crisis from 2015. It happened. Even Minister of Finance in that administration, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, warned. Because before the administration left, Nigeria was already borrowing to pay salaries. Later, she said that the administration did not have the will to save. So you find that Nigeria had been primed to fail. The economy had been primed to go into recession. And it just happened. Let me give you another thing. There is an account called the excess crude account. Mm-hmm. When Obasanjo left, there was $12 billion in that account. When the administration left, there was just over $2 billion in that same account. And this was at a time that oil price went as high as $110 per barrel. So how do you explain all those? Those are decisions that led Nigeria to where she is today. And let me also add that in just 3 weeks, the oil prices went to $56 per barrel. Nigeria added $3 billion to our foreign reserve. As we speak, foreign reserves is about hitting $30 billion.
Yeah. So with this now, it looks like the economy should be experiencing a bounce in no time. Definitely.
We are positive that this year, 2017, Nigeria's economy will experience a turnaround.
Yeah, but why we talk about the previous government defending the naira with the external reserve and the excess crude account?
Not the totality of it.
Yes.
A lot went into private pockets.
Okay. Why some people also helped themselves?
Yes, they did.
In the process of defending.
You can see what is unraveling now.
We're talking about Andrew Yakubu.
The dollar stashed in private homes.
That was a gift anyway. He received the money as gift and not Nigerian money. Yeah. After all, the investigative agencies have not been able to trace the money to any stolen source.
But you also know of $153 million found hidden in different banks. No matter who did it, those banks admitted that money was in their coffers. And do you know how many private homes where dollars are stashed away in Nigeria today as we speak? So the economy was just mismanaged, and that led us into the hole in which we are now. And this is an administration that has come and is determined to right the wrongs. People should just let it be. I like the illustration Father Mbaka, the Catholic priest, gave a while back. He said a man came and raided your kitchen, carried away all the food, everything you could eat, he carried it away. And then another man came and he was putting food back in your kitchen, gradually. And then you begin to shout, "We are hungry, oh, we are hungry, oh, we are hungry." He said, who should you shout at? Is it not the man who came and packed away your food, rather than the man who is putting food back in your kitchen?
Well, maybe they expected that the bringing of food was going to be very, very instant. Anyway, I was going to ask earlier on that if defending the naira with those dollars was wrong to some extent, is it better that we're having a depreciated naira today to the value of about 508 or 510 naira to a dollar?
What do we sell? Just a simplistic approach to it. What do we sell? We sell only oil. Oil prices have crashed. If you don't earn Forex, you don't have Forex. Let me tell you, as at November, December 2014, Nigeria was earning average of $3.5 billion per month from oil. $3.5 billion. By the middle of 2015, it collapsed to $500 million per month. Yeah. Can you see from 3.5 billion per month to 500 million per month? There were months we earned $300 million. There was even a month it dropped to about $280 million. Compare it to when we were earning 3.5 billion on the average per month. The difference is clear.
Recently, the protests we talked about, most of those people that protested were actually those who also supported the coming of this president. They campaigned and voted for him. And today they are already protesting. We're just about 21 months into the administration. Well, we talked about they have to be patient. But
I wouldn't agree with that assertion. I wouldn't agree. There were many categories of those who protested. One are those who were used to free money. And when free money stopped flowing, they couldn't bear it. That's one category. Another category were those who voted for the PDP candidate. No, see how that election went. I think one candidate scored 12.5 million votes. Another scored about 15 million votes. You can't wish away those 12.5 million people. The voters, they are still there, and they are still smarting from the loss of that election. What they forget is that when a country has concluded elections, they should move on. But rather in Nigeria, they are still in their entrenched positions. Some of them were the protesters. Then some were those, like you said, voted for this administration, but their loyalty is only skin deep. Skin deep. If their loyalty was enduring, they would wait. But because their loyalty was skin deep, a lot of people, when Jesus came, they thought that he was coming to restore the kingdom to Israel immediately. So, after some time, they said, "Are you the one who is to come, or shall we look for another?" So, you find some of those people among the protesters too. So, it's a variegated group of protesters from different backgrounds. You can't say all of them were people who voted for this administration.
No, well, they may not have been all of them.
Yeah,
just a section of
there
them.
Are some of them, yes, quite all right.
They actually came out to say that.
Quite all right.
I
quite all
one
right.
of them, Ebun Adeboro.
Quite.
Saying that.
No, I am not sure how Ebun voted, but Ebun had always been against this administration from the beginning. Yeah, so he has a right to protest. Anybody that protested has a right to it, actually.
Well, one of the demands was that our president has been away for too long, and he has not spoken to us, and he doesn't want to talk to us, and he doesn't seem to care about us. Two things have played out in between them. Is it that Nigerians are trying to harass the president into talking to them, or the president just needed his time to enjoy his vacation?
Who actually can harass a president? That's the question I will ask. Who can harass a president? A president that knows his onions, who refuse to be harassed. And anybody who wants to harass a president should know that he is going down the wrong alley. And the earlier he turns back, the better. A president should not subject himself to harassment. Our president left this country January 19. He said he will be back February 6. That was good enough. But he hadn't been gone for 24 or 48 hours when all sorts of rumors started. Every effort to dispel and disclaim that rumor, they didn't listen. They didn't listen. So, what else do you expect the president to do? The president's position is that let them carry all the rumors they're carrying, let them say whatever they want to say. When I come back, they will see me.
And we should expect the president very soon.
By the grace of God.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Adesina.
Thank you.
It's been an honor talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that is the size of the episode today on Frank Talk with me, Desmond. And like the presidential spokesperson has said, the president should be expected back in the country very soon. As a matter of fact, sooner than you may expect, and he will be back on the saddle to deliver on the promises he made to Nigerians. Stay with us for a fresher perspective next time.